Immigration to the United Kingdom is to be made more difficult for refugees in the future. To this end, the British government is planning numerous reforms. In particular, migrants who come across the English Channel should not be granted direct asylum access. Opponents consider the plans inhuman. The British government is planning a drastic tightening of the asylum law. The existing asylum system was overwhelmed, said Interior Minister Priti Patel to the BBC. A new plan for immigration should ensure that asylum is granted to those people who really need it, and not to those who have the ability to pay traffickers. Aid organizations sharply criticized the project. The government is currently examining a number of options to reform the entire asylum system, said Patel. The human trafficking model must be broken. People who came to the UK illegally should no longer have the same rights as people who entered the UK legally, Patel said. But I hope she remembers the Human Rights Charter of the United Nations. If they really have traveled through a safe country like France to get here, as is the case in 60% of illegal entries, then they will no longer have immediate access to the asylum system, said Patel. She was referring primarily to refugees who take the dangerous journey from France across the English Channel in small boats every year. But I don't understand that part. The Dublin Protocol doesn't work for the UK. They are out. The head of the British Red Cross, Mike Adamson, condemned the plans as inhuman. He accused the government of wanting to create a two-class system in which an asylum decision depends on the type of entry and not on the refugee's need for protection. According to the Interior Ministry, legal processes are also to be adjusted in the course of the tightening in order to accelerate deportations. This should make it much more difficult for people to obtain refugee status on the basis of unsubstantiated claims. In addition, stricter age-related tests are planned to prevent adult migrants from pretending to be children. Opposition leader, party spokesman Nick Thomas-Symonds criticized the plans. They would do next to nothing to deter people from making dangerous crossings, he said. In addition, there is a risk that desperate people and victims of human trafficking will be denied any support. And private overseas travel is currently prohibited for residents of the UK. The rule becomes a law from Monday. Violations can result in a hefty fine. While German vacationers who are fed up with the corona lockdown take a plane to Mallorca, in Great Britain, the measures regarding foreign travel are tightened even more. And to those Germans, I must say, you are totally out of your mind. The rule currently applies to all islanders. Stay at home. From next week, it will even become the law, and violations will be punished with heavy fines. The British will have to pay £5,000, the equivalent of €5,800, if they are caught on private trips abroad. As reported by the Reuters news agency, this measure will initially apply until the end of June. The government's previous plans to discuss international travel in April and possibly to allow it again from May 17 have not yet been shelved. According to Health Secretary Matt Hancock, the fines were included in the legislation in the event that this should not be possible. Foreign travel is currently prohibited for the islanders. The only exceptions are stays with a valid reason, such as business trips or training-related trips. According to Hancock, the subject of foreign travel will be discussed again by the government on April 12th. A lot of people want to know what's going to happen on the vacation front. And I know there's a lot of curiosity and interest, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said at a press conference, according to the BBC. At the moment, however, it is still too early to set new rules for trips abroad in the summer. Government advisor Neil Ferguson, an epidemiologist at Imperial College London, told BBC Radio 4 that border measures should be relaxed more slowly than domestic restrictions. He said, "I think conservative and as risk-averse as we are right now should be taking plans of summer vacation." That's really not, no. Do not plan overseas in Great Britain. He also takes a critical view of the exceptions that currently apply to trips abroad and would like a compulsory corona test for all travellers. In Germany, on the other hand, the federal and state governments have only slightly tightened the travel restrictions with regard to the rush to travel to Mallorca. Returnees should carry out a mandatory corona test. However, there is no actual travel ban, not even for high incidence or virus variant areas, although that's a bit crazy. Incidentally, Spain lifts its entry ban for travelers from Great Britain on March 30th. Government spokeswoman Maria Jesus Montero justified the decision on Tuesday with a well-advanced vaccination program in Great Britain. Entry bans for travelers from Brazil and South Africa, however, were extended until April 13th. Since December 22nd, Spain has only allowed its own compatriots and people residing in Spain or in the small state of Andorra to enter from Great Britain. The entry bans for travelers from Brazil and South Africa have been in place since February 3rd. They were imposed because of the spread of new coronavirus variants in the three countries. The British government described its vaccination program on Saturday as a huge success. According to official information, every second adult in Great Britain is now vaccinated against the coronavirus. The entry ban in Spain will now be lifted shortly before Easter. Usually, many British tourists come to the country during Easter. But as I said in the video before, it doesn't look like it will happen. And in the UK, general inflation slowed in February. Compared to the same month last year, consumer prices have risen by 0.4%, said the ONS Statistics Office in London on Wednesday. In January, the annual rate was 0.7%. Analysts had expected an increase to an average of 0.8% for February. In a month-on-month comparison, the cost of living increased slightly by 0.1%. According to the ONS, price increases came mainly from transport costs and fuel prices. In contrast, prices for clothing, used cars and leisure items such as games have fallen. The British central bank's inflation target of 2% is still clearly undercut. And the sports car company Rimac Automobile has opened a new research and development office in the UK. It is located in Warwick Enterprise Park and is expected to employ 30 people by the end of this year. The engineers in Warwick will work closely with the British automotive industry and the Croatian headquarters of Rimac, as the company announced. Rimac claims that it has already supplied British brands such as Aston Martin and Jaguar Land Rover with technology. Demand will grow in the future. Jaguar will become a pure E-brand by 2025, and Aston Martin is planning 2 E-models by then. Rimac may be a small company, but it has an important role in the spread of 800-volt electric cars. The company supplies its technology to both Porsche for the Taycan and for Hyundai for the Ioniq 5. Both automakers have also invested in Rimac. GLR is also reportedly planning an 800-volt platform called Electrified Modular Architecture, or EMA. This is to be used by both Jaguar and the Land Rover. The Aston Martin Rapide E, which was developed shortly before series production, also had a system voltage of 800 volts. While Croatia will always be our home, we decided to take the opportunity to assemble a small team in Great Britain, where the automotive industry has a long history and extensive expertise, said founder and CEO Mate Rimac in his company's announcement quoted. We firmly believe that UK engineers are world-class when it comes to electrification and the future of mobility. In Croatian it's probably Rimac, I always said in Rimac or in English, currently employs a total of almost 1,000 people and, according to the CEO, wants to expand significantly. The company also wants to present its technological flagship, the production version of the C2 sports car. The electric car, which can reach speeds of up to 412 kilometers per hour, is limited to 150 copies. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. Auf Wiedersehen.